So we're going to look at tempo, meter and rhythm now. So you will notice that there's no tempo marked here, but you can see that I've said here that it's usually slow. This is always sung slow, and it's one of those things that the people at the time would have known it was slow, and ever since then people have always sung it slow. So although it's not marked in, it's always slow, and it's a little bit like decorations at the time. They wouldn't have written them in because people would have known what was expected. So meter then, so that's tempo. Meter, we are 4/4, so that's simple quadruple time. Okay, simple quadruple time. Simple means that the beat is split into two, so you can see it's split into two quavers. Compound time, of course, is where it's split into three, so when it feels like triplets, so one and a, two and a. This is simple time, so it's one and two and. Okay, so there's quite a lot of different rhythms in here. So let's have a look at some. We have lots of semiquavers. You can see there's lots of quavers, but we also have dotted rhythms and we have ties which give you that extra lift, a little bit more dance-like, I suppose. So here we have a tie, so a crotchet tied over to a semi-quaver. Here we have these little grace notes, which are semiquavers. We have dotted note here, dotted quaver to a semiquaver. And here we have dotted semiquavers to demi-semiquavers. So that's again quite unusual, but because the music is slow, we can do it. Okay, you can see those rhythms recur throughout. Okay. Dotted rhythms are also used in the vocal part, and so are the ties. So if we look at the rhythms in the vocal part, let's go for a different colour. We have a dotted rhythm here. We have the tie, the very long held note there, tied over. Okay. But then much more, you can see there's many, many more dotted rhythms down here in the harpsichord. Okay. So those dotted rhythms we saw in the harpsichord up there in the right hand, you can see there's still here lots and lots and lots of dotted rhythms in the harpsichord part. There isn't very much syncopation in this. Okay, so let's look for some syncopation. So the best place for syncopation, let's just go to a different page, is bar 20. Okay, so there's bar 16. You can see the bar numbers at the top here. So one more page. So bar 20, 19, 20. This here is the best example of syncopation that you've got. Okay, so there's not a huge amount, but you can see the syncopation is this section here, because you can see you've got the tie over. So because you've got the tie over, you see all these semiquaver patterns are then off the beat. Okay, so that's your syncopation. Slightly more offbeat, 24 here. And you can see this actually in the vocal part. You can see each drop here is on the offbeat, on the beat quaver rest, and then followed by the off the beat singing. Okay, so that's another off the beat syncopated feature. And of course, we do have dotted rhythms. We've talked about those all the way through, which sort of give that little edge to the offbeat feel. One of the things to notice, we've mentioned that the quavers are predominant, but actually, if you remember talking about the ground bass, the bass part all the way through, and you can see here it's all the way through, even all the way to the end. Go to the last page, you can see all the way to the end, we have it all, it's all quavers. So there's your last version of the ground bass, and then we finish with a nice sustained note there. Okay. Something to notice with rhythm, you may notice that we don't have here the harpsichord does play a long note, but we know that a harpsichord can't play a long note because it can't sustain. It's not like a string instrument or a voice. It can't sustain. So what we have here is a spread chord. So that spread chord here I'll circle it in something. That it actually means that it goes on for longer. So here that an arpeggiated chord helps the harpsichord sustain the sound. So although it's, I suppose, a performing technique, it also reinforces the rhythm here because they want to sustain the sound through that chord.